Krishna, everyone. So
Hare
we're
Krishna.
sitting in, where are we?
Tavistock.
No,
Gordon Square.
Gordon Square, yes. So we're in Gordon Square, and we're sitting on a bench, and there's a path in front of us, so people are going to walk during this whole thing. But we were just looking for a semi-dry place because it rained, and as you can see by our attire, it is cold, but will not be stopped from reading the Bhagavatam.
But it depends, because like, see, for me this is wonderful weather, but yeah, you don't like this weather.
I'm ready to go back to Texas.
Yeah. But before we start, I'm going to do a special shout out to Kenneth. You know who you are, Kenneth?
Hi, Bo, Kenneth.
And if you've forgotten who you are, I'm going to put a picture of you right now here, even though you don't like your picture taken. And also a picture of Kenneth's amazing Tulsi Devi.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And they say that Tulsi Devi blooms where there's devotion to Lord Krishna, so you can see by the picture how much devotion he has.
Kenneth has immense amounts of devotion. We get a lot of inspiration from him.
Very sincere, very Krishna conscious.
Yeah.
So this is our friend Kevin. Kenneth. Who, we're so dear to us, Kevin. So Kenneth, thank you.
Confirmed by the parrot. I think it's a parrot. Sounds like.
All right. After that, I better get on with it.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
All right, Canto 3, Chapter 29, Text 10, the chapter's explanation of devotional service. Text 10. When a devotee worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offers the results of his activities in order to free himself from the inebriaties of fruitive activities, his devotion is in the mode of goodness. Purport. The Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, along with the Brahmacharis, Grihastas, Vanaprasthas and Sannyasis, are the members of the 8 divisions of Varnas and Ashrams, and they have their respective duties to perform for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When such activities are performed and the results are offered to the Supreme Lord, they are called Karmapanam. Duties performed for the satisfaction of the Lord. If there is any inebriety or fault, it is atoned for by this offering process. But if this offering process is in the mode of goodness rather than in pure devotion, then the interest is different. The 4 ashrams and the 4 varnas act for some benefit in accordance with their personal interests. Therefore, such activities are in the mode of goodness. They cannot be counted in the category of pure devotion. Pure devotional service, as described by Rupa Goswami, is free from all material desires. Anyabhilashita shunyam. There can be no excuse for personal or material interests. Devotional activities should be transcendental to fruitive activities and imperit philosophical speculation. Pure devotional service is transcendental to all material qualities. There can be no excuse for personal or material interest in devotional service.
Sounds like a tough one to me.
Well,
nigh on impossible.
I think when you first come to it and that rush of enthusiasm and Krishna turns on the Bhakti Rasa tap, it feels like pure devotional service because everyone's a pure devotee. You've got nothing against anyone. No one's annoying or irritating or anything like that. You will do any service. Can you clean the floor? Yeah, sure. Can you go and do anything and listen to anyone? But then as we get and it wears off differently for different people, I guess, but there is a honeymoon period, and then it does. I feel that's when you kind of like, it's like going into Boots. I always say this to my mentees, and it's like you got the free testers there, oh, that's a nice perfume, or that's this. You can't go in there every day and before work and put a different tester perfume on or try this and that. Eventually the security guard or someone will say either buy it or buzz off. So in the same way Krishna's like that, either buy it, pay into it, surrender, sacrifice, or buzz off, basically. I don't say it like that, but Maya definitely does. So that's when this part comes into play, where you're like, all right, am I here because all the friends I've accrued, or I've got some regular service, I got some recognition or whatever, what's in it for me? Am I here for that? Or geez, am I actually developing some taste just to hear about Krishna for the sake of hearing about him, or some feelings of affection for him regardless of my situation? That's a big one. So what do you have to?
Well,
you sound like you're not.
No, I mean, not interesting analogies, but I think we'll read on, see what Prabhupada has to say.
Okay.
Devotional service in the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness can be divided into 81 categories. There are different devotional activities such as hearing, chanting, remembering, worshiping, offering prayer, rendering service, and surrendering everything. And each of them can be divided into 3 qualitative categories. There is hearing in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance, or in the mode of goodness. Similarly, there is chanting in the mode of ignorance, passion and goodness, etc. 3 multiplied by 9 equals 27, and when again multiplied by 3, it becomes 81. One has to transcend all such mixed materialistic devotional service in order to reach the standard of pure devotional service as explained in the next verse. Okay? So we're going to hear more about pure devotional service in the next verse. But interesting, the calculations here. We often hear that 3 times 3 is 9, and then 3 times 9 is 27, and 3 again 81. So Prabhupada often gives that example for the multifarious species of living entities, and that's why there are 8,400,000 different species of life, because there's such variety amongst the modes. It's not like something's in goodness, passion, or ignorance, but actually things are in variations of these different types of aspects of the modes. So like that. But this one is a little different because Prabhupada is using the 9 processes of devotional service and saying each of those can be in one of the 3 modes. So he's not even really giving the variative scales of the modes in that sense. So it's maybe to some extent, but so anyway, whoops.
It's a leaf.
It's a leaf. This is a sign. What is it a sign of?
Autumn.
Autumn leaves. Famous jazz standard. It's a sign, that change of season.
The sign is that the tree is telling us it's okay to let go.
Ooh. Okay, It's okay to die because I'll be reborn again.
No, as Bhaktivedanta Maharaj would say, die before dying. So the trees now are shedding and letting go, and then there'll come a time when they'll bloom and be absolutely beautiful. But you have to shed and die first.
But can we see the beauty in the shedding also?
Yes.
Okay. Shall we read?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Text.
What is it called? Wax philosophically later.
All right. Text 11 and 12. The manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as the water of the Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards the Supreme Lord.
Wonderful verse. Beautifully poetic and descriptive, and just as the water of the Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy uninterrupted by material condition flows towards the Supreme. This is it reminds me of the song by Janavi Mataji. Flows like a river to the sea, may it always be. River of grace flows through me.
Okay.
Hey, you're getting it all today, everybody, folks.
Okay, I'll do a magic trick in a minute.
I did that with the leaf, wasn't it? That was magic.
No. The basic principle of this unadulterated pure devotional service is love of Godhead. Mad Guna Shruti Matrena means just after hearing about the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These qualities are called Nirguna. The Supreme Lord is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature. Therefore, he is attractive to the pure devotee. There is no need to practice meditation to attain such attraction. The pure devotee is already in the transcendental stage, and the affinity between him and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is natural and is compared to the Ganges water flowing towards the sea. The flow of the Ganges water cannot be stopped by any condition. Similarly, a pure devotee's attraction for the transcendental name, form and pastimes of the Supreme Godhead cannot be stopped by any material condition. The word avichina, without interruptions, is very important in this connection. No material condition can stop the flow of the devotional service of a pure devotee. As a man
That's awesome. It's really powerful.
Please.
Sorry.
Well, we sit anywhere we sit, it attracts everyone. Everyone, even the police. They're going to get a donut.
Oh my God, it's meaningless. Yeah, I think this is wonderful. And what I think is wonderful. Without interruptions, very important in this connection. No material condition can stop the flow of devotional service of a pure devotee. And I'd like to mention our wonderful friend Kenneth again, because his material condition is, for most everyone, it would be very challenging with health and has been for some time. But when you're with him, actually, I feel like he's more Krishna conscious than most of the healthy devotees that I know. He's like so in love with Krishna.
Yes.
And focused. And regardless of the material condition, that flow of devotion is unstoppable. And was recently fortunate enough to be in the association of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, and was realizing the same thing, that over so many years, so many challenges, setbacks, obstacles, opposition, the material energy is just fighting to keep that flow of the Ganges, of our devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord. And yet, no, I'm just absolutely determined. And not, it's almost beyond determination. It's not like determination. It's just like, well, no, I don't stop. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is how it is. This is what it is. And you just keep going. You just keep trying to figure out, how to find Krishna in the next page, and the next page, and the next situation. So it's really powerful, very inspiring. carry on? The word ahoituki, now this means without reason. This ahoituki apratihata, is from the first canto, second chapter, famous verse. It's what is it? Oh my God, ahoituki apratihata. It is unmotivated and uninterrupted. Thank you. So like that. A pure devotee does not render loving service to the personality of Godhead for any cause or for any benefit, material or spiritual. This is the first symptom of unalloyed devotion. Anyabhilashita shunyam. He has no desire to fulfill by rendering devotional service. Such devotional service is meant for Purushotam, the Supreme Personality, and not for anyone else. Sometimes pseudo-devotees show devotion to many demigods, thinking the forms of the demigods to be the same as the Supreme Personality of Godhead's form. It is specifically mentioned herein, however, that bhakti, devotional service, is meant only for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, Vishnu, or Krishna, not for anyone else. So I like this explanation. It's starting to open up this principle of pure devotional service, which we heard earlier, is free from any material or personal desire. And that starts to be a little scary, for one, because we think we have to give up our personhood or our individuality, or we may think that, well, I like this or I like that. And I think the point is that it is beyond that. Or that's not, you can still have your personal preferences or personal nature. Arjuna is a pure devotee and he's a Kshatriya and he needs to kill his whole family, and but the point is that we have to be willing to engage our natures for Krishna's benefit, for Krishna's pleasure, and not just simply for our own, which means that we're not motivated, like I'm not performing devotional service hoping to get rich or hoping to find a good partner or to get some recognition, as you said. So like that, it's not materially motivated for some personal gain. But it doesn't mean that we don't still have our personality and still have our personal likes and dislikes. So it's a very fine line, and I think that we have to be careful that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, it's not negation.
Yeah. So like that.
It's not, yeah. Final paragraph. Avyavahita means without cessation. A pure devotee must engage in the service of the Lord 24 hours a day without cessation. His life is so molded that at every minute and every second he engages in some sort of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Another meaning of the word avyavahita is that the interests of the devotee and the interests of the Supreme Lord are on the same level. The Lord has no interest but to fulfill the transcendental desire of the Supreme Lord. The devotee has no interest but to fulfill the transcendental desire of the Supreme Lord. Such spontaneous service unto the Supreme Lord is transcendental and is never contaminated by the material modes of nature. These are the symptoms of pure devotional service, which is free from all contamination of material nature. Without cessation. Sometimes you can think, how am I going to do that? I've got things to do. But Prabhupada gives a nice example, very simple, basic example, that if someone was, like, I think he says the wife, doesn't he? But it could be the husband as well, if they've got like a friend on the side, then they...
Paramour, I think, is the term that's often... friend on the side.
Well, I'm just joking. Anyway.
On the side, mate, you know what I'm saying? Friend, paramour, yes. Lover on the side.
I'm just trying to keep it family friendly. So if you got a friend on the side, then it's like you're going to, and it's true actually, that is true, and you're going to think of that person and just go about your business. If anything, it allows you to tolerate your current situation and go about your business. because you're thinking of something higher than your current situation.
That's very nice. Yeah, I appreciate that. Because, you know, serving the Lord 24 hours a day, you might think that means you have to do one of X, Y, and Z specific activities. But
give up your job, give up your family, you know? It doesn't.
No, you have to eat every day, at least once, if not twice or
3
thrice,
times.
and some people
Snacks.
even more. And so every time you eat, really, you should be grateful and thankful for the food that you've got, and therefore offer it as prasad, offer it, you know, and
Offer it
with love, and then it becomes prasad, and that means, yeah, that's service. Walking, you know, we can take the example of Ambarish Maharaj, who perfected himself because he would, you know, just by walking to the temple, you know, it's like walking, you know, smelling the aroma of the flowers, seeing beautiful things, and that's in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna asks, how can I know you? How can I remember you? And he gives his vibhutis, vibhuti yoga. He lists out all these different things. I am the light of the sun and the moon. I am the taste of water. Last night we were talking to some friends and devotees about, you know, that the varieties of taste in water. Whatever is that taste, then you can remember Krishna. Whatever you're drinking, some juice, some, you know, rooibos tea, or whatever it is. But Krishna is there in everything. So we just have to remember him. And Vishnu Smaranam, Smaranam is remembrance, and remembrance is one of the 9 limbs of devotional service. So hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, remembering Krishna, then performing other activities, you know, this can be done. I mean, when you think about it, oh yeah, what might not be so easy to do that, at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. And of course you have to sleep. But you can even sleep for Krishna. That can also be service to Krishna, because you have to rest the body, which is yantra rudani mayaya. It's a machine built in material energy that has to be rested and taken care of in order to serve Krishna. I'll stop there. Any thoughts?
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful afternoon. And may you remember Krishna and engage 24 hours a day in his service in accordance with your constitutional position.
Time, place, circumstance.
As a spirit soul.
Don't do anything rash.
Don't get a rash either. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.